Started off with.
My name is Diana McClure, and I'm going to be a junior at Warrenton High School. My name is Haley Moon. I'm going to be a junior at Seaside.
I'm Aubrey Lyons. I'm going to be a junior at Seaside High School.
I'm Carla Suarez. I'm going to be a junior at Astoria High School.
I'm Jenny Sellers. I'm going to be a senior at Seaside High School. I'm Rachel LaRue. I'm going to be a senior at Seaside High School.
I'm Amanda Hudak, and I will be a junior at Astoria High School.
And I'm Mackenzie Walgren, and I will be a junior at Seaside High School. So over the past 6 weeks, our project group has learned a lot about the different careers, the colleges that you can go to, getting into the colleges, how to get a certain career, how to dress when you go to an interview, how to act while you're in an interview, how to make your own resume, cover letter, everything like that. And we went on many different field trips to interview many different people from our community and learn about them and their careers.
Our first field trip was to visit Miss Eileen Hutchins, assistant curator at the Columbia River Maritime Museum. She was really interesting. She has a history master's degree, so she has a lot of opportunities for lateral movement across the museum circuit, which I thought would be a really nice option to have. She also showed us the importance of keeping organized in the workplace. Her job was to keep all the historical documents organized, and she worked in the library portion of the museum. Definitely something I need to be working on. We also went to go see the district attorney, Joshua Marquise. He was a lot of fun. He was really happy and nice, and he also told us that if you're looking into being a lawyer, you probably shouldn't do a pre-law program, because all you really need to do to get into a law school is to have a degree. And you should have fun and get a degree that you want.
My favorite person to interview was Cheryl Stepp. I'm actually looking into being a nurse, and she was a registered nurse at Seattle Children's Hospital. She was really interesting. She told us all about how to get into nursing school, how much volunteer work you should do, how volunteering helps. So I actually started Googling volunteer work that I could do. I'm actually going to try to apply for a summer program next summer. She was really fun, and she taught us a really cool word. Sphygmomanometer. It's something to do with the blood pressure taking.
This is Linda West. She was the business representative at WorkSource here in Astoria. She really didn't talk a lot about her job in particular. She more focused on our jobs, and she showed us interesting ways to find information about our jobs. And one thing she showed us was a website that we can go into and look at where our job, like how much people were in that job, in what state, and how much they got paid. And she also gave us these nifty little handbooks that had lots of information on WorkSource and a little thumb drive. She was really nice.
One of my favorite field trips was visiting the dietitian at Columbia Memorial Hospital. She originally got her bachelor's in education and was a teacher for elementary and middle school. But she ended up not liking that so much, so she went back to school and started learning about nutrition. I was surprised by how much science there is in it. She said while she was getting her master's, she was taking a lot of biochemistry, fun, and I was surprised by like how flexible her schedule is, and she only has a part-time position there. During the winter, she teaches classes at Clatsop about nutrition, so it's pretty cool.
So about halfway through, after a lot of interviewing and a lot of time spent in little rooms and being indoors, we decided to take a break and walk up to the column from the college, and it was one of my favorite things that we did, because we just goofed around and had a lot of fun. wasn't really educational, but a lot of us just, it was a nice day to relax. Some of us even went all the way up to the top of the column. Me and Aubrey rolled down the hill, which we got soaked and beat up by the hill, but it was fun. We also walked around on the trail around there, looked for a couple geocaches. We didn't end up finding them, but it was a good day just to relax and get to know each other better.
We went and visited a U.S. Coast Guard ship, and Hollis Fletcher, he's one holding the dog, Admiral Alfie, I think that's his dog, yeah. He's a hydrographic surveyor, and he takes sonar pictures of the Columbia River, and then they see if the sandbanks are overflowing into the canal where the ships go, and then they have a team that dredges them. And yeah, it was pretty exciting.
And then we went to go see Dean Perez. He's the Human Resource Director for Clatsop County. He didn't really talk about much of what he does, but he did talk about how he hires people, and a good way to get hired is to always be prepared, always show up on time. Actually show up earlier, because it's always better to be early than on time. And he also told us a little tidbit of information he wished that he had. If you don't get a business card for someone, ask for it and read it when you get it, and don't put it in one of your pants pockets, because that's rude. Put it in a shirt pocket or a purse or another card.
We also went and visited a U.S. Coast Guard air station, and this is Lieutenant Zachary Bocek, and he actually flies those helicopters right behind us, and he let us actually explore the inside of them and let us sit in them in the pilot seat too, and he showed us like how to get into the Coast Guard and the ranks and everything like that. And I thought it was really interesting because I want to go in the Coast Guard next year and actually fly helicopters just like that.
Another person we saw was Deputy Brad Johnston. He's the Deputy Chief of Police. And I learned something personally from him, and that one thing was not to hesitate before going to college, because if you hesitate, it makes things much harder. It's much harder if you have a family and you're raising kids, so just don't hesitate before going to college.
My personal favorite interview was going to see the director of the Astoria Public Library, Jane Tucker, who is actually in the audience tonight. And we met her, and she told us about the qualifications that you have to be a librarian and the different jobs that you can have at a library with those qualifications. And when we went to meet her, we actually met another lady, Patty Skinner, and she runs the programs at the library. And she let me volunteer without even filling out the volunteer forms, which was very nice, to help out with some kids. And after that, she helped me to fill out my volunteer forms and volunteer even more at the library.
Another person we saw was Monty Baumgartner, and one thing that he taught us was that just having your own business, you're a lot more flexible. You can own your own pets in your business, and you can bring them to your business. And another thing is you can go on a lot more vacations, and you have more time, and it's just a lot more flexible. And it was really interesting to hear about his personal job. And another person that we talked to was Lonnie Stepp. She was actually Renee's sister, and she was a teacher. And I learned a lot from her because that's something that I would like to go into eventually, maybe teaching younger kids. And I learned that being a teacher, you can pretty much travel anywhere, and that's really flexible too. And she went to Alaska, and we learned a lot about an Eskimo group up there, and that was really interesting to hear about what they do and everything.
So we went to the Oregon Department of Forestry and we talked to Ron Zilli, and he is an assistant district forester there. And while we were there, he talked to us about the different career paths that you can have there. You don't have to be outside and get mud all the time. You can be inside an office and do the plotting, etc. He was really nice and gave us a tour of a trail that was right outside the center. And the trail had trees that they planted in the 1990s. He also informed us that there are numerous things that you can take from the trail without a permit, and he gave us a list. It was really nice. And I personally really like the outdoors, but I don't know if I'd want to make a career out of it. So later on this month, I plan on job shadowing him and see how that works out.
Our visit to the Daily Astorian was one of my favorite by far. We met with Betty Smith, Laura Sellers, Sue Cody, and John Brunish, and Eric Ketto. He was definitely an interesting person because of the area that he worked in. He was the multimedia producer. It's something that I've already explored during my summer studio program up at the Portland Art Institute. So it's definitely something I could see myself going into as a career. I hope to eventually do a job shadow with Eric Ketto or someone similar. This is also some fun that we have.
This is a picture of our workshop that we did at WorkSource, and they were kind enough to lend us their room for a day. What we did for our workshop was we went over everything that we had learned. We combined it into a nice little compact form that was easy to learn for people any age. We had an elderly man there who was his father. And it was our first day, and even though we only had 3 people show up, we felt that we made an accomplishment. We actually got people there the first day. We had fun doing it, and it was a great experience. And we also had some fun, as you can see in this picture. We goofed off a little bit and had a great time. And sadly, we couldn't get a picture of our second workshop, which we had at the Women's Resource Center. And we had it 4 people there that time, and it was a lot better than our first one. The people there, they interacted with us more. They weren't afraid to come out, ask us questions, comment us on stuff, and we feel that they benefited from this, and we feel like we accomplished our goal, and we gave them knowledge that they may have been seeking.
Some people that we didn't happen to get pictures of, one was Tina Toyas, who is the instructor of health and physical education here at Clatsop. She was really cool. She talked a lot about her favorite sports, which were tennis and basketball. We also interviewed Suzanne Bermuel-Wilson, who talked to us about Voca camps, which is a really great community service opportunity. And Kristen is actually taking a class tomorrow night.
We also talked with some of the career center people from the college and the college's financial aid and TRIO program to learn a little of what Clatsop Community College offers for us. And that was really nice just to know what we can get there. And I know we'd all like to thank